Hello friends, welcome back to yet another video. Today we are back to one of our old school topics, which is gloves. It's like a top 2 to top 3. Every time we need some views for the videos, we will do gloves is one of our candidates. So yeah, hopefully there'll be more views for these videos. So it looks like there's been a bit of a recovery for gloves. I think most of our viewers know or probably invested in gloves. Some of you have made a lot of money. I know people who retired because of the glove bull run, and most people did not retire with the gloves bull run, either because they had too little money or they've lost a lot of money out of gloves. So for the longest time, right, the argument is that, you know, China is coming in and COVID is dropping, so ASPs or the average selling prices for gloves will be dropping. And then because COVID is over, the demand has been subdued. I wouldn't say zero, but subdued. And imagine, right, more players going for something that has subdued demand. What can you expect, right? And so Malaysia was hit big, and a lot of people were worried, and I think the stock prices dumped a big amount. In between, there were like, you know, 20-30% recoveries every now and then, which is expected. But no one really believed, right? It's more like a dead cat bounce, right? They call it.
Yeah.
But it seems now the situation is a lot more stabilized, right? So you want to walk us through?
Yeah, so you can see this is the stats that is depicted by this Magma and also RHB. Basically, they predicted that in 2024 and 2025, there will be shortage in glove. A little bit of shortage where demand will be outstripping the supply. Obviously, because there's a lot of these, the big four players and also Chinese players, they actually reduce their expansion in terms of this production capacity. So that kind of toned down the supply. So that's why you see their supply is kind of like stagnant after a few years, and then the demand will be rising. This is by RHB, and then Philip Capital say that they are a little bit more conservative because you can see the number over here, the global demand for Magma is around 375. They predict that the global demand will be around 329, which is like 50 billion shy away. And then this one is 368 billion in 2025, whereas for Magma, they predicted 412. So yeah, but anyhow, also, it's still going to be like a somewhat demand going to be matching supply kind of like situation. So that's why there's some sort of like bullishness in terms of this sector, like, and analysts are thinking that there will be some sort of a recovery coming soon. Yeah, and also this is mentioned by Top Glove, and not only Top Glove, Hatalega also, Kosan also.
Yeah, usually it's like the same. If one guy mentioned it, everybody is pretty much the same.
Correct. So they have been saying that month on month, the orders have been jumping around 30 to 40%. China and also Thailand's selling price has increased by more than 10%, which is a huge news because for longest time, they have been like depressing or pressing down the prices. They have been going into this price war. I believe China, they used to charge around like 14 to 16 US dollars per 1,000 pieces, which is very low. And then the big four, the Malaysia players, are charging around 20, and they are forced to sell it lower, like around 18. So yeah, so basically it is like a cash burning kind of like activity that's going on around this industry. But right now they are increasing prices, which means demands are coming back already. Which is also a very good sign. And also another thing that they mentioned is that most of the glove stocks or the inventory
from the old days,
correct, has been starting to clear off already. So it means they need to stockpile back on glove. Okay, so this is some of the stats that we managed to depict from the Edge and also some of these analyst report. So you can see that this is their 2024's production capacity for all of these companies as well as Inco. So right now, Top Glove is still the number one, it's still the biggest one, and then this is followed by Inco. Then you can see that their utilization rate is still quite low. Top Glove is 32%, Kosan 50, 43. Hatalega is 58, but then they kind of like show there's like some sign that in this particular month, their utilization was 90%. So probably there may be some sort of recovery where utilization rate will be running at full capacity. So this is probably something we can anticipate in the future. But Inco, their one is about 90%. So it means they cannot capture much more market share anymore because they are running full capacity. So this means that the buyers now have to go back to the Malaysia local players to buy because Inco just cannot produce more than that already. And then this is their average selling prices that they are charging right now. It's increased by 10% as according to the Top Glove and also some of these analyst report.
But you also have to wonder whether Inco will decide to add on a new factory as a result.
Yes, but then they need time.
About a year, right? I remember. At least a year to set up.
A year or two.
Yeah,
and also they need also the money also. Because right now, their margins, if I'm not mistaken, from their reports, right, is about 0.2%.
Yeah.
So if they were to expand, they won't be making money. They will be actually losing money.
So I think it is interesting because I've always thought that Inco is national service. It's not about business.
Oh, okay.
Like it's the Chinese government want to secure their own glove supply. Because I would imagine a big chunk of Inco's revenue is internal.
Got export also.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think a big chunk is definitely internal. They need to secure their own one. And I think, Chinese people are already traveling. Now, why is that important? Is because it means that they're probably going to be they'll be more lax about all this mask or, sorry, not mask, but, this glove stuff, right? Because, COVID presumably is not as big in China anymore. And so, therefore, the interest or the incentive for the government to give more to give more money for Inco.
Correct.
Right? Because if the margins are so thin, right? No businessman will do what they do.
Yeah, this is on top of this subsidy that they are getting from the government.
There you go. Yeah, so the subsidies will probably either stay or won't or reduce.
So anyhow, that's why there's a big debate saying that the Malaysian companies is coming back raving back in.
Hello investors. Are you tired of going through endless complex financial reports? Maybe you're sick of all the information overload? Want a faster, easier way to research stock investments? Well, we've got the solution for you. Introducing FIRL Pro. FIRL Pro is your go-to source for concise, easy to understand stock reports. We shortcut your research journey by 90%. Each report is crafted to be straightforward yet informative, taking no more than 15 minutes to read. That's right, just 15 minutes to unlock key insights about stock investments. The program works especially well if you are busy with work, family, and activities. The best part, it's totally risk-free because we offer a hassle-free money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied after purchasing it, just email us here within 10 days of purchase for a full refund. No questions asked. Not sure about the program yet? No problem. You can check out our free sample reports available in the video description or comments below. It's a great way to experience the FIRL Pro advantage firsthand. Get informed with FIRL Pro.
And yes, so you can see that some of these share price actually rebounded back. So you can see that Top Glove 11%. I think Kosan is the one that is up quite a bit. Year to date, 27%. In just a few.
No, year to date 22, but from the bottom is 27.
Correct. Yeah, and then other players, Harta Lega and Supermax also going up. But then Supermax, there's some sort of internet tussle going on with their board members, family issues. So yeah,
is the plane issue resolved already?
Yes, but then right now they are having this the holding company. They are trying to wind up this holding company. I think it's an agreement with the founder and the wife. So and also something to do with the trust. And then the daughter also kind of fighting with the family. So
it's not internal, it's a family.
Yeah, it's a family. Correct. It's a family
anyway,
issue.
It's not something we can really comment too much about because we don't know them personally.
Yeah. So but then if you're looking at fundamental or business wise, Harta Lega and Kosan is the one that is raving up. They are trying to leading the pack right now. So the takeaway right now is basically, is this rally, the temporary rally, is it priced in or not? Some of these analysts, I believe I read Rondi from StockBig, he basically said that probably it is priced in. Why is because the glove, right now you shouldn't be classified them as a healthcare stock. Maybe pre-pandemic you can, but right now they are a manufacturing kind of stock. The reason why is because it's a commoditized product and it's easy to manufacture. I mean, you can see that China already came in and then they manufacture a huge bunk and then they kind of almost overtake Malaysia as the number one spot in terms of manufacturing. So valuation wise for glove probably need to reduce a little bit or have to be discounted. That's according to him because obviously because healthcare is much more premium, right? Because you're expecting their demand to be much more higher That's why it can command a higher premium. But now it is reduced to a manufacturing. That is his point of view. So whether is it priced in or not, this is up for you guys to decide. But you have to see whether can they actually remake back the earnings back in pre-pandemic years. So that is something for you guys to know. And then what about valuation? Whether is it cheap or expensive? I think I would say it's still at the cheaper side of things because we are still at the bottom, right?
It's been pummeled.
Yeah, it's been pummeled quite a lot. So it is still somewhat like fair to maybe even low to fair. So that is where we think the territory is. But then whether there's still more upside, that is up to the market. But so far, a lot of analysts are pretty bullish. Even JP Morgan, who once was they are the one who shorted the glove.
Yeah.
And they initiated a short glove and then they reversed and then they came out with a bullish report. They said that now is the time to go in. So yeah, so that's about it. What's your take on this?
I don't know. I maintain my view that I had in our previous videos, which is we do not have to have an opinion on gloves. Except that the only thing I would say is that they're not as dominant as before. That's it. But they're likely to still be a big player in Malaysia, right? We have certain advantages that probably China doesn't have. Only thing with Rondi's point is I understand his point about manufacturing, but I think that it's still manufacturing for the healthcare sector. And so when people say healthcare, what they're really referring to, healthcare with regards to your top gloves and all that, what they're really referring to is that their goods and products, or in this case, their products, are catered towards the healthcare sector. Right? Technically, you can call Inari a manufacturing also, right?
Yeah.
But people call them semiconductors because they manufacture for the semiconductor industry. And then similarly, unless you know something I don't, they are manufacturing gloves for the healthcare, predominantly the healthcare industry. Of course, some industrial and things like that, but mainly through healthcare. So there's only like adjustment I will make really to what Rondi said.
Yeah.
So that's takeaway. And as usual, guys, you've been watching our videos, you know that we have this thing called FIRL Pro. What do you get inside? Well, you get written reports only. And these are the returns of when we write those reports, some of the stocks we put into these 3 portfolios, right? The FIRL Pro, Catalyst, and Boring portfolio. FIRL Pro is these are all model portfolios, right? And FIRL Pro is our best performing, right? 60.49. The Catalyst is 13.64. This is our more short-term kind of portfolio. FIRL Pro is more like our best ideas, right? And the Boring portfolio is the dividend ones. But I believe you were saying that I think if things continue, the next one will be like almost 4-5%, right? Boring.
Boring,
which is quite crazy because we started this like less than a month ago.
I think it's about 6% now.
That's crazy. Anyways, so that's your EPF really. Okay. So these reports are like really easy to read, right? They're really short. They're not so short where, it's like a 1-pager, but they're also not very long, right? We have an internal target that we want these reports to be less than 15 minutes long. You shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to finish one report, and we shouldn't we should be able to convey like what is in the reports within 15 minutes. So what can you expect inside the reports? Well, you can actually check out our free sample here to get a sense, but briefly speaking, we'll talk about why we think the company is interesting, the business model. We look at some of the numbers. We do look at what the market is valuing it at, what's the valuation and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's really to speed up your ability to find potentially profitable companies for your own personal portfolio. So we do a lot of the heavy lifting, and you just do the last 10-20% of deciding whether you want to buy these companies or sell these companies for your portfolio. As such, guys, thanks for staying all the way until the end. Always thankful for your support. Very appreciative. And look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.